right. Welcome everyone to WOO MOMMAS Podcast. We are back again. I'm Colleen Carlson with...
Hi, I'm Gina Petropoli.
We are here on this new moon evening. You will be watching this a couple of days later, but we will still be in the vibration of the new moon energy. It's a very powerful one. It's probably going to last for a whole week.
Thank God.
I know.
This has been a good one.
Yes, this is a good one. And Gina and I are both fire signs. So we're really grooving with this new moon energy, manifestation, lots of inspiration. And that's because new moon is in Scorpio, but it's sitting alongside Mars. And Mars is a planet of fire and determination. And so Gina and I both have a lot of that going on. We're both fire anyway. And so we were just talking off camera about how we're just ready. We're just ready. And you may be feeling that too. You also may be feeling lots of intense feelings. Scorpio is the sign of water. It's the scorpion. That particular astrological sign goes very deep in their feelings, deep in their emotions, deep in their thinking. So you may be sort of contemplating different parts of your life. I mean, there's a lot going on. How are you feeling with it all, Gina?
I mean, very energetic. You kind of know that I don't know what has sparked in me. And it's been even leading up to this, it's been there. It's Colleen and I were both kind of into this, manifesting what we want and doing the work for it. And all this stuff has shown up like out of nowhere. And so I feel like those are part of the ingredients for this recipe that I'm feeling right now. So I'm excited. It's very positive.
Yes.
Very, very positive.
It is. And everyone will eventually feel that. They will feel the determination. They will feel the fire. It may show up in different ways. You might all of a sudden feel like there's a big storm happening with everything collapsing in your life or transforming or changing. And that's not necessarily a negative thing. I'm going to go through the houses with everyone tonight. And so you can see what areas you can work with this new moon energy. Gina, I think you have some YouTube videos. Do you have some YouTube videos of working with the moon?
I do. So I have the full moon meditation and I have a new moon meditation. Yeah. And if you didn't know, when there's a full moon, it's kind of like taking out the garbage and you're releasing stuff from your life that's not serving you anymore, things that you want to change, get rid of. And you're making room for when the new moon comes. And that's when you are manifesting your desires. So during a new moon, you're bringing in all those things that you wish for your life. Yeah. So I do have those meditations, and I also have a service for both of them. So you come in, yes. We do a meditation. Again, if it's for a full moon, new moon, we do specific meditations for those, some grounding. For the full moon one, we write down what we want to release, and we have like a little burning ceremony. We go outside and we burn it. For the new moon, I have the client write down everything they want to bring in, and I'll have them fold it on a small piece of paper, and I'll tell them to go home and like bury it into the earth. So it was very ceremonial, very nice. And aside with that, you do get, you get a Reiki energy healing, and just a rebalancing and a renewal. So it feels really, really nice. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Are there certain signs? Colleen is our astrologer. Like, I'm excited about tonight because I get to learn some stuff because, I don't know. I know maybe a few basics, and I need to know even more on the basics, but I'm learning because I'm so fascinated with it, and she's taught me so much. I'm just kind of curious. So like you said, with the fire signs, it's a time, we're really feeling this energy. Are there any particular signs out there that might be feeling the opposite during this time?
Yeah. So opposite is subjective. So maybe the opposite of what we're feeling. Like we're in it, like we're burning it, because of Mars. I mean, if Mars wasn't in it, we might feel differently.
Right.
So what I'll say is, because Mars is fire, it would be the opposite of fire, which would be air. Okay. Or you could even look at water or earth. So those other signs are not feeling it the way. So we're all part of the elements, the 4 elements. You and I happen to be fire signs. So other signs, and as I go through each sign, I'll mention what their element is. If you think about it just in the physical plane as elements, so if we have Scorpio, which is a water sign, deep feeling, deep thinking, they get a bad reputation a lot of times because everyone thinks they're dark. But the thing is that they can handle darkness. They are the one sign that truly can dive deep, understand their pain, understand their trauma, and is not afraid of it. Whereas other signs, like air signs, they're like, whatever, don't want to think about that. It's just a totally different way of processing and moving through life. So Scorpio people bring, and this can be rising sign. It's typically the rising sign we like to focus on, but most people don't know their rising sign. So we also talk about the sun sign too. I mean, there's a potency in our sun sign as well. So typically, I would say the other 3 elements would be feeling it quite differently than us. And when I go through the houses, because each sign you work with the particular house during this new moon energy.
Oh, okay.
The houses are specific areas of our lives. So they're like career, family, health, a whole bunch of things, right? And so I'll explain each house. And so that's the energy that you want to focus on. You can focus on other energies, like new moon in general is a manifestation time, right? But when it's matched up with the house, you look at your life, that particular house in your life. Okay, say it's family. Well, what do you need to focus on to manifest for your family? What do you need to focus on to manifest for your health? And it just goes on and on. So each sign has a specific house that it works with during new moon and full moon energies. So it gets very specific.
Wow.
Okay, there's so much. And even though I've loved astrology and read astrology, and I have a big library of books of astrology since I was 16, I still don't know everything. There's so much to know. There's so many layers. I keep thinking I'm going to take a course someday, but I never do. So so you know what? I'll actually start with your sign first because and I wanted to say too, something I learned from you when we started working together a couple of years ago, and that was the grid that you set up for manifestation. Can you talk about that a little bit? I'm curious about that.
Yeah. So when she says grid, we're talking about a grid with crystals. And, a lot of things to do, when it comes to energy work and when it comes to placing crystals, there's something called sacred geometry. And a lot of that is based on it. It's very deep. And again, the way that you say about the astrology, it's just layers and layers of learning. It is the same with crystals. And I did take the course, and I'm going to tell you something. It's complicated. I mean, it's not just as simple as classifying crystals and what they're going to do for you. I mean, crystals are, lumped into different categories of, how their inner structures are. But grids are made so that crystals are in certain formations and they work together to create this synergy of energy. And you set intention into the grid. And once you set the intention, the energy and that intention together is supposed to, it's like if you think of smoke, except you can't see it and it just permeates, it's an energy. It's like you're connecting with it. And it's like a message that's being sent to the universe. Okay.
Like almost like a
So
vibrational field, right?
it's,
Like,
yes, it's a vibrational message, because our intentions are, people don't know that when you set intentions, they're very, very powerful. When you pray, you're setting intentions when you pray, because you're wanting something to happen. There's that little old saying, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. It's the same thing. So when you're setting intentions, when I work with crystals, just, even to do a healing, I set intentions into the crystal so that it works with the energy field. And it's same with the grids. So it's just think of it as just this grid that has this, I love the word vibrational that you use. It's a vibrational message that gets sent to the universe, and it communicates, and it helps you to, manifest. And some people manifest love, they manifest abundance, peace, sorrow, releasing any sorrow or grief that you might be having, protection. So there's all different sorts of things, and you just kind of set your crystals. It feels complicated at first, and I just, some people have like, oh, there's patterns that you should do. I just do what feels right, and I set them until everything feels right, and then I do them. And I haven't actually done a grid in a long time. I used to do them even in my home, but they're fun, they're pretty, and sometimes, so you can even put them in a pattern, like just like on a table. And sometimes I do grids right on a person. They're not big ones, they're small ones, but like I'll start feeling like, okay, their throat might need some extra, might need crystal quartz here. And I start placing things. It's intuitive. I don't even know how to explain it, but I don't know what to do. But so that's,
and I want to make note of when you made that grid, and that may have been, I don't know if that was the last grid that you made, but Gina set that grid up, and I would walk into the office. We were at a different office at the time, and I would go immediately over to that grid, and that was a manifestation grid, and we were trying to grow our business and look for inspiration, and how we were going to collaborate together. And do you realize what we have done now since that grid?
It worked.
It worked. Oh my gosh. And I haven't thought about that. Seriously, until you just started talking, I was like, oh my gosh, we did that for manifestation. That was a new moon grid. And it was beautiful. It was like there was a point in the middle, and then you had points all the way around. And I think maybe even there were some cards. I can't really remember.
I think I had your business card and my business card underneath the grid. Yes.
That's crazy.
So, and I think I had a quarter on there too. I think I put a quarter on there.
Manifesting for abundance.
And, I mean, our lives changed drastically after that.
And now we're collaborating even more and doing other things together. And what I'd like to say about two things: one, about manifestation and prayer. Like, I consider those two things the same, and the power of it. There's something prophetic that happens, and prophecy is not today. You say something and then prophecy is proven. It has to be proven in the future in order for you to know if it was manifested, right? So like even in religions, you'll hear a prophet say something. They say, oh, there's going to be XYZ. Well, you don't know if there's really going to be XYZ until XYZ happens, right?
Exactly. Yes.
And because the universe is this beautiful enigma, right? We try to make it have time. We try to force the universe, God, into these little boxes of our thinking, right? But there is no time for God. There is no time for the universe. There's only perfect timing. And so when we were ready to shift our businesses together, and we did that, that was the perfect timing for it.
Yes.
And I want to say something about perfect timing. Perfect timing isn't always the most comfortable thing either.
No, it's not.
Right? Because when we're growing, when we're transforming, when we're changing, and this ties right into the new moon, is that it may feel uncomfortable. So Scorpio new moon, right, may feel uncomfortable for a lot of people, but rest assured, what you would like to manifest, even in your uncomfortableness, right? Let's use the example. I'm doing the 10-day clean eating challenge. Okay. Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So it's uncomfortable. I mean, I eat really well anyway. It wasn't that much of a big of a shift for me, but still there was something uncomfortable that I wanted to just trim down a little bit. I wanted to jumpstart that. You know, I was feeling kind of thick in my midsection, right? So let's think of the Scorpio moon as that thickness in our midsection, right?
Yes.
We have this, and right now we don't want it. You know, whatever the uncomfortable situations that are happening for people, you don't want this uncomfortable situation because you're growing through it, you're learning through it. And Scorpio new moon is teaching you how to do that and what you need to manifest the thinner waist. Okay. How you trim how you're going to trim your physical, spiritual, emotional body down.
Yep.
Okay. And so you want to put your prayer energy, your manifestation energy out into that which you can see for the next month. How do you want to change this particular situation that you're in?
Right.
Because Scorpio is very deep. And this is global. This is not just the individual, but it's actually planetary, because the planet, all its people, all its governments, everything, all the systems, they're all affected by these moons. It's not just you and me or the people that are interested.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So
I always find, and I've said this to you before, that I always find what's happening on the collective level always filtered, like you can just follow the line right down to yourself. And it's always like in alignment with that. And it's interesting. And, you know, for people, for those who are just like, oh, you know, that's crazy that, you know, the government's, well, astrology is nothing new. We've been doing it for years. You know, it's in the Bible. It's pretty old. And I don't know, what do they say? If the moon is strong enough to make the, you know, the tides rise and fall. I mean, that's all energy, people.
it's energy. And you know what? And you can I don't like to, for myself personally, I don't like to put any of this into a box, because religion would say it's something else, or other people would just deny it and say it doesn't even exist. I don't want to be limited like that. I want to be open to the natural rhythms, and this is a natural rhythm. Whether you believe in astrology or listen to it or read it, it doesn't even matter. It is part of a natural rhythm. Just like when people poo-poo crystals, and I'm like, these are things that have been formed in the earth. This is one of the most organic things that we could have our hands on. And we've already learned through quantum physics and science that everything is energy. Then why isn't this?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
And so I always come from the place of, I have nothing to prove. Just take whatever you need from this, or don't take any of it. You know, it's like, you know.
And what does all of it, like pretty much every watch out there that's made, what do they have in it?
Oh my God, crystal quartz.
Crystal quartz. Go read about it. It'll tell you why.
There's so much power, right, in it all.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what I'll do, I'm going to start with Gina's and then I'll do mine. So there are 12 houses and each house represents some part of our life, okay? And during each moon there is our sign is linked to, for lack of a better way to say it, in a particular area of our life. And that's the area where we can work on manifesting during the new moon and releasing and forgiving during the full moon. So for Leo, you are in the 4th house. Leo is to work with the 4th house. So this manifestation period in Scorpio, which is a very intense time. It can be a competitive time. People can be a little snarky, maybe. It's a very electric time, right? That's the description of it all. So in the 4th house for Leo, your area that you can practice manifestation is home and family, everything that's domestic, anything that's in your environment. So it could be your work environment too, where you belong. Okay. Wow. And also your past.
Ooh. Oh, that's interesting.
Okay. So that's the area for Leo.
Interesting.
That's the 4th house. I'll go through all the signs in just a minute. So mine is really intense, and mine is the 12th house, which is the house. Oh, and I want to say that I'm using Yasmin Boland's book. I love her. If you analogy, I know you have some of her cards, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have her card.
Yeah. Yes. I like her descriptions because they're very concise, you know. So the 12th house, ironically, Scorpio is a very deep, can be dark emotion, shadow work. You know, Scorpio can feel darkness. It's naturally who they are. They can understand it. They're very intense. They're very caring people. But my house for manifestation, and it's no surprise to me too, is it's the 12th house. And that is the most sensitive part of my chart, which is the deepest, the darkest. It's my fears bubbling up. It has to do with my spirituality. It has to do with where do I not support myself? Wow. Where do I crush myself? Where do I tell myself those self-limiting beliefs? It's also has to do with dreams, the dream state, what I dream about, what I hope for. And it has to do with withdrawal, which is how do I want to escape from things? How do I want to detach from things? I mean, the 12th house is very deep, very dark.
Wow.
So prior to these moons, there's a lot of energy. And so a few days before a moon, before the full moon, before the new moon, we might start feeling some of this energetically, right? So if you think back the last 4 or 5 days, were you already in a place where home and family and all of the things that I talked about in the 4th house, were those things coming up for you already?
Oh my gosh, and the answer would be yes. Because it's funny is I'm shifting so many things, building on to new things for work. And I keep telling myself, you have to still stay balanced for home. So I'm trying to get like everything at home balanced. And I feel like I'm in a good place with it. Yeah. Like I know this, like even just for the past year, just trying to, gut things out. And I've been in the mood to just clean and purge. And I don't know. I've just home has just been just a very happy place for me. It always has been. I mean, It's not that it hasn't, but I feel I have felt this sense of maybe nostalgia. I've had a lot of especially in the past week, and I've actually texted my girls about it. Just a song might be playing or a thought, or like if I'm going to the mall, just missing the girls, because we always used to go shopping. It's this time of year. So, and you know, I know that decorating the house for Christmas, that's always been like a really, I love Christmas, and so do my girls. So, just with all my kids, just decorating the house and getting excited. So like, there's just been this energy of excitement and can't wait to get that started and keeping it balanced. Like that's been the big thing for me. Work really hard because, you know, I'm definitely going into overdrive now with everything. And even though my kids are adults, and you know this, Colleen,
Yep.
I'm still busy with them. You know, it's I can't, you can't take the mom out of me. And I don't think you'll ever be able to, you know. I'm their mom forever, and it's how I always promised that work would never come before my kids. And you know, so I try. So balance has been my big thing lately. So
Yeah.
it makes
So
sense.
yeah, so that's what happens. It starts to stir this kind of stuff up. And it's not that you weren't thinking about your domesticity before. It just
Right.
became very intense, you know, the change of the seasons, the, you know,
Yep.
all of the nostalgic stuff happening, right?
Yep.
That's what happens. And mine was also, I was going through a very deep, dark period. As you know, I became an empty
Yep.
nester. My sons moved across the country. You know, I didn't know how to cope with that. I spent days just sort of curled up with myself and trying to, you know, journal and pray and meditate as much as I could and heal and just eat comforting foods and cry and cry and cry, you know, just let it go. And, you know, and not even knowing, I wasn't even thinking about the new moon coming up, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
right. And so like you can purge some stuff. And then now I'm really grooving on it. And that's another piece that I'd like to share with people tonight is that whatever you're going through, allow yourself to feel it, because
Yep.
that is one of the most important, I'll say, portals to get you through to where you can get to the place where Gina and I now are feeling, where it's like, okay, we're ready. Like, sign me up. Like, where do I
Yep.
sign? You know, and, right? And we're like literally doing that. So,
Yep.
and so that will happen as we move through things. So, without much further ado, I will go through all the houses. So, feel free to the audience to take notes if you want to. I'm going to start with the first sign, which is Aries. So Aries is going to work with this new moon energy in the 8th house. And the 8th house, according to Yasmin, is joint finances, credit cards, debt. It also has to do with sex. Anything you consider taboo, that's okay. We're girls too.
I don't know why I just said
oh no, we're gonna get on a laughing tag again. Before we started this recording, we were laughing so hard that, you know, mamas who've had babies, those things that happen when you laugh really hard. So yeah. So sex, I'll say that again. Anything you consider taboo, but it also has to do with, for Aries, it also has to do with transformation. So look around, see what's happening in your life. How do you want to manifest things regarding this? Do you want more sex? Do you need to work on paying off some debt? Do you need to manifest some money to help you with that? You know, do you need to transform your life in any way, in any category? Probably around sex, money, all of that, credit. Okay. So Taurus is the next sign. That's the second sign, is working with the 7th house. Now this can also be, I should mention too, it can be sun and rising. So you want to look at your sun sign and your rising sign. Most people know their sun sign. So I'll read them from the sun sign, but if you know your rising sign, then when your rising sign comes up, you can also pay attention to that house, because we would work on both of those things. I'm a triple Sag, so I'm sun, moon, and rising are all Sag, so mine's pretty straightforward. Do you know what your rising sign is, Gina?
Oh God, I don't think I do.
Okay. Yeah, so a lot of people don't. And so just go by your sun sign because it's manifestation time for that as well. So
So
Taurus,
a rising sign a rising sign also has houses in it, like different houses.
no,
Or
it would be the same. It would be the same. Well, yes, it does. That is the answer to that question in general is yes, but for this particular new moon, we're going to work with either our sun or our rising sign.
Okay.
And we would look for if your sun and rising signs are the same, like mine are Sagittarius, it would be the 12th house. Say your rising sign is Pisces, then we'd find a different house. So you'd work with two areas.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, for manifestation, which is kind of cool. Mine is always the same.
I'll figure it out. I'll look it up and figure it out.
So Taurus is the 7th house, and that has to do with your relationships, your spouse, your lovers, even ex-boyfriends, girlfriends, ex-spouses, whatever, any type of partner dynamic that you have in your life. So that would be your business partners, anything you partner with, right? So that's for Taurus. And it has to do, this could be a really competitive time, okay? Because it's a competitive time anyway, because Scorpio energy is really intense. And then we have it in the 7th house where competition is. So any Taurus, that would apply to you. Gemini is going to be the 6th house, which is daily routines, things going on at work, your health, and your duty to yourself, your duty to your family, your duty to your job, your business. So you're going to want to look for areas that you want to change those things. What do you want to manifest and bring in to change in that particular house? So that's your routines, work, and so forth, the day-to-day stuff. Cancer is the 5th house. The 5th house is creativity. It has to do with children. Whether they're yours, your nieces and nephews, your grandchildren, the pursuit of pleasure, things that you enjoy doing, and also love affairs. So it's like that heightened excitement around creativity. So children bring that, love affairs bring that, your pursuit of happiness brings that. So that's all for Gemini. Is that what I said? No.
Yep. No. Yeah.
No. This one's for sorry, I can't even remember my notes. That Gemini was routines. So Cancer is the 5th house.
Oh, Cancer,
yeah. Romance and creativity. Leo, we did the 4th house, which is home and family, domesticity, where you belong, where's your place in your life. That's the 4th house, and also dealing with your past during this new moon, right?
Okay.
Do you want to bring some things from your past into the now?
Oh, that's an interesting perspective. Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
See, this is why you can't be inside of a box when you're doing this stuff. You really have to think in all directions.
All directions. Yes.
Yep.
So Virgo is going to be the 3rd house, and that's communication. It has to do with your siblings, neighbors, anyone sort of next to you. That's kind of the idea. Quick trips, things that you might want to do just for fun, whatever. And also early education. So you might want to think about, like, what did you learn? This is for Virgo. What did you learn when you were younger that you could maybe bring into today, bring into now? Literally sat with a Virgo for dinner tonight. We literally talked about that I didn't even realize it was the same thing. So Libra is in the 2nd house. So if your sun or your rising are Libra, the 2nd house is cash, your cash coming in, cash going out, property, things that you possess, material items, and also the value that you put on those things and the value you put on yourself. So that is for Libra in the 2nd house, could be rising or your sun sign. Scorpio is going to feel this because When we're new moon, right, in our sign, we really feel it intensely. So it's always going to be in the first house. It's your appearance, it's your image, it's how you self-identify, how you come across to others. It's literally your sun shining out. So it's who you are.
Wow.
So it's very intense for Scorpios. I have a bunch of Scorpios in my life. They are going through it. But they're going through it. See, that's the
Right.
thing. When the new moon is in our sign, we literally can manifest. We're a powerhouse. Sag is the 12th sign. So this is still sun or rising. 12th is the deepest, darkest, most sensitive part of our chart. It's our fears, right? And I've been living this. I've literally been living this. It's your spirituality. It's the limiting beliefs you tell yourself. And dreams, and it can be dreams from the past. It can be that you haven't had come true yet, that you want to bring, And then we have Capricorn is in the 11th house. That has to do with your social circle, your communities, what you're wishing for, what you're hoping for, and what a wonderful time to work with that manifestation energy in the new moon. Wow. The Aquarius, we just have two more. The Aquarius sun or rising, once again, is in the 10th house, and that's your career ambitions, how you make your mark on the world, your reputation. So how do you want to change that, Aquarius? How do you want to manifest? What do you want to bring into your life during this new moon energy? To change your reputation, to make it more solid, to be known for something, if that is how you want to work with this. Pisces, this is the last one, is in the 9th house, and the 9th house is study, travel, the internet, higher learning, religion, and big dreams, which Pisceans, they love all of that anyway. So it's a beautiful energy for them, especially the water side like Scorpio. So work with those of you who are listening. We each have a house, we each have a particular area, and you can work specifically. You don't have to, but like as a testimony to Gina and I, we already were doing it without even realizing it. So yeah. So what else? Anything else?
That's interesting. That's really interesting. That's good stuff. Yeah.
So it looks like we have 9:30. So are we going to did our guest respond?
Can I look and see if he responded? Yeah. Okay. Sure. He didn't see. He's probably still recording himself. So
okay.
It's okay.
That's okay.
So we're going to have a guest on. We're going to be interviewing him, and it should be coming up soon. We'll talk about it after. Yeah. So he's a local Pittsburgh guy.
Yeah.
He's Jimmy Kells, and he's doing some really cool stuff. He's making his mark on the music industry, and we're going to be here to talk with him and see how he got there. And I always say our life takes us in such different directions, because I remember he's my son's age, and he played baseball with him, and I remember who he was here, and it looks like he moved, and he gravitated to other things that led him to where he is right now. So I love that kind of stuff. Like, that's sort of what we're about. Everything is in our world, everything is spiritual. They happen for reasons. One shift in life can launch you in a whole new direction. So always keep that in mind in case you're, struggling with something. Our struggles are not always, they're not permanent, and they're not, I think I told Colleen last week, I said, yeah, things don't happen to us. They happen for us. Yes. And and sometimes you can't see it in the moment, but it's amazing when you look back and say, oh my gosh, if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't be here right now doing what I'm doing. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to talking to him. Yeah. And hey, I'm going to ask one question, and it's not that you even probably have the answer, but I think it's interesting. So have you heard about Iceland?
Yes.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I
But
know.
you were talking about the energies, leading up to this big time. And again, whenever stuff like this happens, I always see all this other stuff happening, like on the earth, supernatural things. So I thought that was an interesting one because they had, I think in a span of maybe 48 hours, they had like 3,300 earthquakes. That's like, it's unusual. And they told people that, they want people out of there. And some of the volcano has started erupting. I've seen some pictures. I find it weird that, I mean, I don't think it's on mainstream media. I don't know why, but it's happening. And I just thought that was interesting, the way that, again, it's energy, and our earth has to rebalance sometimes too. Like the way our bodies have to rebalance, our earth has to rebalance too.
Yes.
So it's interesting.
When I say that I believe in the oneness, I believe we are one with everything. So our pets, the trees, the earth, each other, right? We are all a system, a similar system, right? All over. When we are going through a transformative time, like this new moon in Scorpio energy, the earth is going through. Okay, each area of the earth is under an astrological sign. So I don't know what Iceland is under.
Wow.
But
Okay.
they have a sun sign. Iceland has a sun sign.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Different areas of there's what do they call it? Like an astral geographical map that you can actually look up, and it will show you like what area. So
Wow.
maybe Iceland is Scorpio. I don't really know, but because it's actually like physically moving, which is transformation.
Yes, it is.
They're feeling it. And where are the people going? Like,
I don't know. I don't know where you go from there.
Is it just happening in one area?
I want to say Reykjavik. I think it was near Reykjavik, Iceland, but it's just we don't really usually hear of Iceland in the news, for anything. It's kind of one of those beautiful places that it exists, and you're lucky enough to go there to see it. But that's great, but we don't really. It's kind of like I call it like a benign country. There's not a lot. It's to me, like, it just seems balanced there. Like, to me, it it represents balance because we don't hear of wars there. It's just this beautiful place to go and enjoy all the beautiful scenery there. So hopefully, everything will level out and everybody will be okay.
Yeah.
It is happening. So
yeah, the interesting thing about it happening in such a concentrated area, people can get away from it, and then hopefully it simmers down. You know how that usually it's like it'll shake, things will shake, simmer down. But I wonder if that was ever on any scientist's radar that this was going to be happening at some point. Because they always say that, like, about parts of California and stuff.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know. I would just put out, while we're doing our manifestation, just to pray for Iceland.
Pray for that area. Pray for Iceland.
There's a lot of things going on all over the world right now. So
that's for sure.
So this was fun.
This was really fun. I love this. I love learning about this stuff because there's so much to learn. So if you were to suggest a book, like me, for example, I really would love to just delve in it, just to learn it. Just because I find it fascinating. What book is it? That Moonology book that
Well, okay. I'll tell you, this book, I don't know if you can see it. It's this tiny, it's only like 4 or 5 inches. It's this, I use it all the time. It has every sign, and it even has Chinese astrology in the back. But it's not necessarily, doesn't teach you everything, but you can learn about each sign, the elements, the personality styles, the polarity, whether it's feminine or masculine. I mean, I think the book it's $12.95. I think I got it on Amazon, a long time ago, but it's like a little mini Bible for me for this.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Because I'm sure that it's not just about one particular book. I'm sure it's like different books that you can extrapolate information. I wonder if there's like astrology for dummies or something, because those books are great too. They break it down nicely.
Yeah, there might be one actually called that, but I have Yasmin Boland. She's out of the UK. I have all her books. She has Astrology Made Easy.
Oh,
is what it's called. So
I have to remember that one. Astrology Made Easy.
I'll put a couple links
at
the bottom of the YouTube video in the description.
That would be great.
Yes.
And then so before we sign off, let's just the holidays are coming up. We just had our open house on Saturday. We had a wonderful time. And you know what? If you are looking for some unique gifts, you can come to the Healing House. We do have a little boutique. Colleen's got her books out. We have candles. We've got tea. We've got this awesome handmade dandelion salve that
beautiful.
Colleen's friends makes by hand, and she puts it in those pretty little tins. And it's a wonderful salve. I have some jewelry there. We've got aromatherapy sprays and roll-on bottles. There's a lot of stuff there. So really pretty stuff, unique. And if you're looking for something special, come on over to Thornell Road in Pittsford.
And you can let us know you're coming. Maybe I'll put our links or our phone numbers or something in the description. Great. I think great one-of-a-kind gifts. Gina is a jewelry designer, and her jewelry is absolutely stunning. Also, I consider a lot of the other stuff, the crystals and different things, like stocking stuffer type gifts, or little Hanukkah gifts that you want to give, wonderful stuff. So yeah, definitely. I'm so glad you brought that up. I never think of that stuff. I think of it.
And I brought, my daughter makes them, but I kept the ones, the Zodiac, the key fob wristlets. They're really, really pretty. They've got some really pretty fabric, and she has one with all the Zodiac signs. So they're very decorative and pretty. So lots to choose from. So give us a call and come on over.
Yeah, that sounds great. So thanks for joining in to another.
Thank you for your knowledge.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I could talk about this for hours, but
I know
yeah. So happy new moon, everyone. And remember,
happy new moon. Set your intentions.
Set your intentions from the heart and watch how your life just starts to bloom. So thanks so much for joining us on Woo Mommas Podcast.
Good night.
Bye. We'll see you next time.